Are we live?
We live.
Episode 11.
We made it. We outside.
Made it. We outside. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms watching.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mamas, babies, mamas.
Listen, we appreciate you.
We love it. We love it here. Hello, y'all. Shout out to y'all. Welcome to Hear Us Out.
The music and media. See y'all again.
Episode 11. We here. We live. Wow. We made it to episode 11.
Double digits, gang.
We've officially crossed the threshold. We in the double digit energy period. We love it. So shout out to all of y'all. Happy Mother's Day, everyone that's still tuning in with us live. We hope you got some time with your moms, all of that. We're about to enjoy this nice little combo and then let y'all get right back to your families. You know how it goes. So Lottie, you want to kick us off? What we got for episode 11? What did the people vote?
Yeah, the people voted, and this one won by a singular vote. So every vote counts. We're going to be talking about how to avoid burnout.
The magic conversation.
Hello.
The magic conversation.
Are you actually in music or media if you've never experienced burnout? At least once?
It doesn't have to be this real. That's the question though. Are you? Oh, because I've been there many a time. Ongoing, I will say for sure, burnout. First of all, what is burnout? Burnout, it's those feelings when you have creativity fatigue, inspiration fatigue, motivation fatigue. It's the feeling of, I can't keep going, I must keep going. I can't keep going, I must keep going. Those moments where you've really just been going on 10, on 20, and now your energy is catching up to you. And you really, sometimes I think in this industry, we're always on go, 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 go. We don't even realize that we're tired sometimes. And then it hits you like that day where you wake up and you're like, I literally can't get out of bed today. That's burnout. The moments where you're like, I'm usually faster at coming up with ideas, or I'm usually more able to just like kind of stay on top of it. But for some reason, I just can't today. That's burnout, really that the moments where you realize you've kind of overexerted yourself a little bit and it's time to kind of pull back. That's that burnout. So we wanted to start out by saying what it is, because we're going to address the elephant in the room, and I'm supposed to say ongoing process. I still have those moments where I'm like, did you overexert yourself again?
Listen, you gotta unlearn
truly
the ways that you lead up to that, because it's one of those things where once you recover, you can come right on back around to it even faster the next time around.
No, truly. Truly, I love that. Ooh, you could come back even faster next. A word. What do you think? Like, how, I guess I'm like, when it comes to the burnout and like all of it too, especially as it pertains to this industry, I think it's important for us to at least start by like literally acknowledging too, why that is a thing, like why it exists, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, so most of you guys know that burnout for the most part is like, work-related type stress. And obviously stress at work is a little normal. But sometimes you can reach your limits. You could be at your wit's end, especially when it's like prolonged and like very intense over a period of time. Like if you don't have people around you that you can delegate work to, or if you have like really tight deadlines and just a lot of responsibilities, a lot of times there might be a team, but the team is very understaffed and overwhelmed. And so it's very easy for these things to happen. And we already know in music and media, the budgets don't always be budgeting. So you be doing all this work and you might be getting paid a little something, but generally it's not enough to take care of the fact that you're working really long hours for really long periods of time. with very little breaks. Like, it's funny because, you know, a lot of times people have the discussion about like work-life balance.
Mm.
And I'm always just like, what is that? For a lot of us, it's like we work and then we life around it whenever we can get the chance to. But again, it's like depending on the projects you're working on or who you're working with or what holidays are coming around, et cetera, et cetera. That is not something that exists as much as it should. And that's why low key, a lot of us, our friends are like people we know from work.
Literally.
That's that to you right there.
That's a point you are. Yeah, don't come for me. No, literally. I was like, I thought about it. I'm like,
I'm also talking to myself. Whenever I get to hang out with like non-work related friends, like friends who don't even know what happens in music, I'm like, oh, thank God.
right, a release, a break. Talk about what's going on right now for a second.
Hello.
No, that's a good point. That's a really good point. I love that you talked about that. The work-life balance part, I think, is super important. The lack of work-life balance is like, oof. Or rather, not even just the lack of, but it's like really figuring out the ways that you can create that. And I think, like you said, it's an ongoing process. You know, it's an unlearning process of being able to know when to actually turn it off. I think, you know,
talking to the workaholics here, myself included.
I feel like sometimes there's a sense of urgency that tends to come off in most industries that aren't medical. It's not just music and media and entertainment, but like there's a sense of urgency in a lot of different industries. And I find myself often, and I shout out to one of my former bosses, he was big on this with me. You know, when we were working together, was like, nothing is urgent. Don't ever use the word urgent. Like nothing is urgent. And that helped me to be able to like kind of create
Need
that.
On a t-shirt.
Yeah, literally, like that helped me to be able to create the separation that kind of started the thought process behind, okay, how can I be creating a lifestyle that doesn't allow for burnout to kind of grow and fester and things like that. And that was the first thing I told myself, was like, okay, this is not open heart surgery. Like everything will be okay. And there is enough time in the day, you know, that's a good thing. But yeah, I love that. I love that you just said that. The work-life balance is key.
I like what you just said about this is not open heart surgery. Because a lot of time, and here's the thing, right? One of the things that we're taught to believe, again, you just touch on this, is how like everything needs to be done like right this second. If it doesn't get done, then like everything is gonna go to shit. And it's just like you do the thing and then it'd be like 3 weeks and it's quiet. So I'm like, so was it urgent or was it?
Because it's been a minute since I heard back on it.
Because it's been quiet. And there won't be no updates. It just be
it'll be like, we got to get this done now. And then silence.
Whether it's somebody needing STEM, somebody needing to send a memo somewhere, somebody.
Are you preaching?
More often than not.
You preaching. No, so wait, I love that. Like the paying attention to the workflow, I guess, is a really good point when we're talking about burnout, right? And like how to avoid burnout. Pay attention to the workflow. I think prioritization is a skill that is learned and practiced over time, learning how to prioritize, learning when it's necessary to really go full throttle and jump in and like go give every last bit of your energy towards something. And when it's like, okay, wait a second, I can chip away at this over time. I think that's a skill that I'm not going to sit here and act like I've fully mastered. I think over the course of years, I've definitely tried to get better at it, but it's something that I'm still working on a daily basis, especially in creative industries. Like we find ourselves, you know, I can speak from my own experience. When I get inspired, I'm gone. I'm gone. When the inspiration clicks, I'm not stopping until it's done.
That's why I can't be sleeping at night, because for some reason, if you hit at like 2 a.m.
Now, why did you just come for me? No, don't you even bring up sleeping patterns. I do not.
It's always
in the middle of the night,
hours
doing stuff. Like, what are you? Anyways, we're not even gonna go there. But yeah, no, truly.
But I like that we're talking about this, because I think like one of the biggest myths when it comes to burnouts, people are like, oh, you know, like if you really love your jobs, there's this quote like, oh, if you find a job you like, you'll never work a day in your life. And I'm like, that is a doggone lie. Like a lot of times people who become burnt out are people who actually love their jobs and they love it so much. And that's why they put so much of their time and energy into it. Like, so don't think it has anything to do with, oh, maybe this is not my purpose or this, that, and the third. Nah.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I feel that. I feel like I think one of the big things is like that myth is like key, because I feel like a lot of times that's how, things continue to get perpetuated. Sorry, give me 1 second, y'all. I apologize. It's Mother's Day. 1 second, y'all. Blondie,
Hey,
please take it away.
you know what? Shout out to the moms and the mothers. So yeah, it's just like burnout is, again, just to reiterate, it's not a reflection of the fact that you're not doing whatever is like your life's purpose or whatever. It just means that you need to take a step back and reevaluate some things. It's not even an age thing either. Like sometimes people are like, oh, like, like you gotta work when you're young, and then like burnout happens when you're older. People can get burnt out at 12 years old. You can get burnt out at 20 years old. You can get burnt out at 25, 30 years old. It's not even like an age thing. It's not even like a amount of years put in thing. You can get burnt out in like a 3-month span. Like it could happen over the course of any amount of time. So don't let nobody tell you that, oh, you're too young to be burnt out or whatever. It's like, bruh, I've been working all my life. All my life I had to fight. Like,
I was about to do that. All my life I had to fight. I'm done. She said you can be burnt out. No, but that's a fact. That's a fact. I love that you highlighted that it's not age specific. I think it's not industry specific too. And that it can literally happen to anyone. I think the biggest part of it is having the awareness of when it's happening, having the awareness of when you're overexerting yourself, having the awareness of when it's like, okay, wait a second. Did I take a break? That's the big thing. Like, did I take a break today? Did I nourish myself today? Did I drink some water today? Is this really so urgent to the point that I can't do any of those things?
Hello? Note to self. And also just want to add to that real quick. You can be sleeping, every day, napping every day, drinking your water every day, and still experience burnout.
Burnout. Ooh.
Just want to say, like, people think like, oh, if I have my 8 hours of sleep and if I have 3 square meals, nah, you can still.
It doesn't, it's not like it picks and chooses who it's going to affect, like that's 100% true. I think too, like a lot of it, dang, I really like that you said that, because now I'm like, yeah, that's true. Like you can still be taking care of all of those different things, and that doesn't mean that you won't necessarily experience it. I think it's just having that awareness of what to do when you feel it coming, like having the awareness of like, wait a second, okay, I'm going so fast right now. Okay, yes, I drink. Do I need to take a break? Do I need to take a break from the computer? I've been staring at this computer for how many hours today? Like my eyes are tired, my brain is tired, like just all of those different things. I think just keeping those reminders to yourself in your working space of what you should be doing to help give yourself some time to recharge. And obviously easier said than done, especially when you're trying to enter into the industry. I know it feels like I got to catch up to everybody else, or I got to make sure I stay on top of it, or it feels like I can't take a break because of this and that and this and that. I recognize that, and I know that is an experience. I've definitely felt it and been there before. And I think it just really comes down to easier said than done, but self-advocacy in that way of like, yo, I really need this. And if you know that that's what you need, I say one of the hacks that I do when I'm trying to avoid burnout, and it's something that I'm trying to implement more for myself, is like when I feel myself getting super, super, super overwhelmed, or if I feel myself getting too like going in the middle of the workday, I try to just stop, take a breath, and I go outside. And I just like try to like, if I have to take my phone or my computer and just read my emails on my phone while I take a walk, I'll do that. Or just something to let me like get a different change of scenery so that I don't like burn out completely throughout the workday.
We love a good walk. Especially in this weather, we love a good, 10, 15 even. It don't gotta be nothing crazy. That fresh air, that sunlight, it does something to you.
Every time. Set those alarms for yourself. I feel like it depends on what side of the industry that you're on, but for the most part, most people in the industry, it's like an unwritten rule that like everyone takes lunch from like 1 to 2 p.m. Like that's it's like a thing. Like every company takes lunch from 1 to 2 p.m. type thing. Or
Also, like low key legally, sometimes you obligated to take a lunch break.
yeah,
So if you
but
legally
like
obligated to take that lunch break,
take the lunch break and utilize it. Like utilize the break to be able to go outside and touch some grass, or wherever you live, just go outside and get some sun, whatever, or meditate or breathe. Just focus on breathing, whatever that looks like, whatever release looks like for you. I think that's a big key to avoiding getting burnt out. And that's just on a day-to-day basis, but on the long term, when you create the routine, like you create space for the release throughout your working schedule, that can help you on the long term of not allowing for burnout to kind of build up. Because I feel like sometimes I've had experiences where it just hit me like a bag of bricks. I was like, oh, I'm burnt out, because it just built up. And one day my body was just like, you thought, nah, you thought you was gonna keep going today. Okay, go sit down, you know? So like,
hey.
including
No, but can we talk about that? Because here's the thing with burnout, people think it's like, oh, this, that, I'm tired, this, that, and the third. This is something that can have lasting effects on your health. Not even to be dire, not even to get too deep with it, but it's like if you don't take the necessary breaks and precautions to take care of your body, it will do it for you. And it's not going to do it at an opportune time, and it's not going to do it in an opportune way. I'm telling you right now, like you do not want to end up in a hospital or wherever else because you're not taking care of yourself for extended periods of time. Like don't let it get that bad.
it happens. I've seen it. I ain't gonna lie, it happened to me for sure. I will not tell a lie. Definitely
from experience.
I'm speaking from full experience. Like I said, I am not an expert. I just speak from my experience on here.
Burnout. You know what the vibes is right here. We telling you about that we've been through, or that we've witnessed. We know other people have been through. Like
I've been there.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real. It's real. But I think the best thing I could say for it is the awareness. Having the awareness of it, knowing that it exists. Don't try and avoid it. I think there's a notion that exists too, that like it can't happen to me. It can. Like I said earlier, it's not selective on who it affects. Like I know there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, I won't get burnout. I don't get burnout. I'm not, that can't happen. And it will hit you like a bag of bricks, and you just adjust. And then you create the space for the release, for the breaks, for the things like that, so that you're not going full throttle 25/8. Wait, let's see. Do we have any chat activity?
Questions?
That was probably slow today. We got the little
not yet
going. I haven't looked at the Twitter.
No, nothing on Twitter. It's checked.
Yeah, no, I love that. What are some, let me think. I'm trying to think if I really love that you touched on the myth about well, if you love your job, it won't feel like it's working and things like that.
They be lying about that one. Real bad.
They be lying.
Because there's aspects to every job that sucks and that's draining. So like, I don't know why they be lying.
They be lying. I don't know why they be lying. They be lying. Oh my God. I love this.
Capitalist agenda. They're not gonna get me, trust.
They're not gonna get me.
I see through it.
I see through it. No, that's facts. That's facts. And I like that we touched on it's not age specific. It can happen if you love your job and if you don't love your job. It just can happen. I feel like I really want to, like, apart from creating space for release in your daily routine, I'm thinking of like the other ways that I've heard or seen people talk about how they address it. There's some really good, I'm trying to think of I think it's like at anxiety well-being or something like that on Instagram. I'll find it and we'll tag it later. But there's a certain Instagram page that I follow that like periodically throughout the day, they like tweet out different things, and it like literally will say, did you do this today? And I'll be like, okay, why did you just come for me? No, I didn't go.
I'm crying.
But it's all centered around helping you to avoid, getting yourself worked up.
I need that one because I'm gonna turn post notifications on. Like
literally it'll like they just tweet out, they post out just different like word graphics that'll say like, just posing the question of like, have you done this for yourself today? If you're on a team, have you checked in? Like, what's the pace? Oh, this is a good one. What's the pace that everybody else is going? I think one of the things that I'm speaking to the overachievers out there, the recovering perfectionists, you know what I mean? Like, are you going at the same pace of your team? I think that can contribute to burnout sometimes too. If you're going faster than your team because you're like, we got to, like whatever, if you go at the same pace as everyone around you, it helps you guys to kind of be in sync with one another, and to really like make sure that you're not outrunning everybody else around you, but that you actually have a steady pace, and that if you need support, people can kind of catch up to where you are, and everybody can kind of make sure that in theater school, we used to use the example of like keeping the balls in the air, right? So if one of them drops, is there somebody behind you that can pick it up to make sure that all of them are staying in the air?
Interesting.
How do you get back into that? Now that's a theater example, obviously, and we use that in, performance and things like that, but it's like, how do you keep the tempo up in a realistic way? Like, how do you keep the tempo up? How do you keep yourself going throughout the day? How do you keep yourself going throughout the month? How do you keep yourself on track with reaching your goals? And if one of the balls drops, that's okay. How do you pick it back up, let yourself breathe, and then get back to it? And I think that that's something that I try to keep that image in my mind when I'm going through stuff. Is like, okay, wait a minute, I'm working through the day.
I like that.
Am I picking up? Did I pick up too many? Am I trying to juggle too many things? Maybe I only need 2. Maybe I could let one of the third ones, let's wait a second, you know what I mean? And keep that image going so that you stay balanced.
Yeah, I think one of the number one things to keep in mind when trying to like prevent or address burnout is that you need to set firm boundaries. And I know it's easier said than done, but that means not checking Slack on the weekends if you don't have to, not responding to emails after the end of the business day if you don't have to, not feeling like you have to say yes to every single event, not being the first to jump at working on a particular task if there's other team members. It's like, set the necessary boundaries, because really you think that you need to do all these things for the sake of your career and the sake of the job. Meanwhile, you and the job both gonna be fine. If you turn a few things down, low key, the quality of your work and the quality of your life will be better if you turn a few things down, because stretching yourself thin, you're not doing anyone any favors. Not sustainable.
I feel like that's the biggest key. Like, oh, sorry, like that's crazy to think about. Like when you really think about the fact that like we often think to ourselves, like, okay, wait a second. Am I going to be replaced by this? Am I going to be doing this? Like, this job will be fine. Create balance for yourself. Like, they will be fine. You don't have to stress yourself to the point that like you can't function. Like, it'll be fine. And if you're on a team, don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that's a big part of avoiding burnout, is knowing when you're taking on too much.
If you don't delegate some damn responsibilities, like
here go Lottie.
Outsource. No, you don't need to be doing every goddamn thing. If you get an assistant, holler at a team member, low key, maybe even speak to your manager and be like, listen, like the way these timelines and these responsibilities are set up, there's only 24 hours in a day and only like 8 to 10 work hours in a day. So you gotta let somebody know what's good, because you suffering in silence, I'm telling you, it's not doing anything for anybody. If you can get help, get that help. Please.
I love it. No, preach. There's no words. That is today's episode of Here.
Happy Mother's Day. Low key, and not to sidetrack, but the mamas that are watching, this is for you too, though, because I know how hard y'all work. I know, like, first of all, especially the working mom. Oh my God, you got a job and you got kids. I always say, like, yo, once I have kids, I'm becoming stay home because no, let me stop. But like, that's a lot of work. You got 2 full-time jobs, please. Whether you got to tap a partner on the shoulder, whether you got to get, the grandma, whoever, whether you got, let the boss know, like, hey, like my kid's sick, whatever, like, please. You already got the world on your shoulders. Like, let's
balance. And don't be afraid to delegate. Like Lottie, you hit you hit the nail on the head with that one. You gotta delegate, because otherwise you will burn out immediately. You can't take on everything. What they say, you can't scale the whole mountain.
Listen,
at one time. You gotta step by step.
Life is a marathon, not a sprint. I know people be like, I'm trying to be here for like a good time and a long time. That's cool. But if you're trying to do both, you try to be here for a good time and a long time, you're going to have to scale it back a little bit.
You said that's cool. No.
And that's cool. But just saying.
I love it. Now look, I mean, we've said it. We've given some ways in which, it manifests within the workplace, within lifestyle, personal and professional. And we've also kind of debunked some of the myths that exist out there. And I love it. So I'm like, yeah, I feel like we've kind of really given some really good perspectives on it. I really, really love, I'm holding on to the one. Because I didn't think about it from the perspective that you gave of like, when they say like, if you love your job, you never be working. Like, I'm holding on to that.
Listen, I have to write that down. I don't know who came up with that quote. I got a bone to pick with them, because y'all got a whole generation of people fucked up. Like, what? Like, who came up with that? I'm sorry. Like, that's just not it. That is not it.
It's not a
Take
vibe.
breaks. Go on vacations. Like, no. Work is still work at the end of the day, whether you love it or not. Like,
yeah, balance is key. Yeah,
that is very, very dangerous mentality, because then it's like, then you will never feel inclined to balance if you think that everything's supposed to be, all fun. And no.
Yeah, you'll never take a break. You'll never give yourself some space to think about something else. One of the things that I just said the other day to one of my best friends, I was like, yo, let's go, like, just take some classes in something that's not related to what our creativity normally is, right? So like, we're creatives full time. Let's go do something. Let's find the hobby that isn't necessarily creator centric. So where are where's the yoga? Where is the kickboxing? Where is all of the other things that you can be doing to balance
hobbies? Remember hobbies, you guys?
They don't have to be the same thing as the creative industry or the creative outlet that you use.
Not everything has to be to advance your career. Like,
no.
You can do fun stuff.
Find the things that help you balance outside of it, so that your brain is actually taking a rest. Like, just because you love it, doesn't mean, and I get it. We've heard all of the greatest say that I worked on it 25/8. Trust me, I get it. I work on my stuff every day. Every day, I at least take some time to work on what I'm trying to build for myself. So I understand that. But at the same time, I'm also learning through the process of building for myself how important it is to have my brain literally rest from that. Like, where are the mindless activities? I'm trying to pick up freaking crocheting.
My mom crochets.
Something that I can do that's just like with my hands, that I don't have to think about. I don't have to read it. I don't have to look at a screen.
I love that. No, crocheting and knitting are a vibe, from what I can tell.
And it's peaceful. There's nothing going on. It's just chill. So I love that. Those are my hacks.
If anyone here knits or starts to knit, we want to see the creation.
Yo, knitting socials, where y'all at? Where the book club mommies at? You know what I'm saying? Like, all of it. We're doing to give our brains a rest for a second. That's how you really can help to avoid the burnout, for sure. For sure. It's okay to take a break. It's okay. I promise. It's okay. It is. I love it. Well, if there's no questions, y'all know how we get down.
Listen, if there's no questions, y'all, again, prioritize self-care. That's the takeaway from this. Whether that's practicing mindfulness or whatever, if you got to meditate a little bit or something, or go on a staycation or vacation or whatever, set those boundaries. Do not disturb, by the way. I just gotta plug that. Do not disturb is that girl. I keep her on me. Like,
I keep her.
No, I gotta say, Apple snap with that one. Listen, they really did.
Apple snap with that one. Nah, for real. Sometimes you got to turn it on and just let yourself be. I know the anxiety too of like when you come back and you got 50 million emails.
Listen, and you know, and sometimes you do see something that's quote unquote urgent, like 20 minutes late. Oh well, you wasn't supposed to see it right then. Like it is what it is.
All right. It'll be all right. The world will continue worlding.
Notice how it has kept spinning since. So that's dead.
We're gonna wrap it up for today. And y'all know where to find us
Mother's
next
Day
week.
to all the moms.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Share this one out with the world. And we will tap in with y'all next week. Bye.